It's crazy that I am going to be here. I wrote a bunch of stuff down, and then lots of times when you go to say something that you wrote down, it all disappears and you decide you're going to say something anyway, and you wasted 2 hours writing it all down. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and it was Prayer Center actually asked me to come and speak on behalf of addiction and homelessness and how that affected me in my life. And so there's a lot to all of our stories, so it's really hard to narrow it down, especially with 10 minutes. And I'm known for talking for 45 minutes, so I'm gonna try to make it quick. But my addiction really came from things that happened in my childhood, and I didn't know that at the time, but the way that I was raised as a child and the attention that I didn't get, or the attention that I did get, one or the other, with physical abuse and mental and emotional abuse and things like that, really put an infection in my heart that I didn't understand was there because I was a kid. I had a lot of unforgiveness and a lot of hate and a lot of resentment and all of these things that built up in me. And my mom actually was diagnosed with delusional paranoid schizophrenia later on. So there were some mental health problems in there that I didn't understand were going on. But anyway, I took off and I had a lot of pain, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt because I left my house and I had a little brother that I left there with my mom, and I knew what he was going through. And so this infection just increased in my heart, basically, is what I'm telling you. And so I went out and I tried to find some ways to bury that pain, and I'm really good at sales. Come to find out, I got a knack for speaking to people. And so I made a lot of money in sales. Every time I got a sales job, I did really good. So I made a lot of money. But when you're a drug addict, that's a really dangerous thing to make a lot of money. I think that it's the worst kind of drug addict is when you have the money to afford to support your addiction, because that makes it really tough to stop. So I did that until I couldn't do that anymore, because that eventually happens too. It destroyed my household, my son's mother, to the point to where she had the same addiction and the same infections that I had, and now she had shame and unforgiveness, and she was full of hate in me, and this continued on until it completely destroyed my household. We separated, and that was really my first taste at homelessness, was in that moment, because I left. But I much rather would have had my addiction still at that time than my family. Whether that be my kids or her or that family unit didn't mean anything to me. I wasn't ready. I still wanted to be an addict. So anyway, I got in a whole lot of trouble in Illinois, and I didn't want to go to prison because I was a coward. And so I had some jailhouse lawyers tell me when I was in county jail that if I told the judge I was a crackhead, and told my lawyer that, that they'd get me off and they'd put me on drug court. And I thought that was a real great idea, because so that way I didn't have to go to prison. So I was living on the street. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go in there. So I told all of the authorities that I needed to tell that I was a drug addict and I needed help, but I didn't want any help. I just didn't want to go to prison. And I thought that I was smart enough in my addiction that I was gonna fool Prairie Center and Judge Ford and the cops and everybody else, And I was like, I get through this. And I've been getting through it. I'll keep getting through it. They're not gonna catch me. I can do this. That didn't happen. I dropped dirty once. I went back to jail. They let me back out. I dropped dirty again. I went back to jail, and I never got away with really anything. But so on the third time of this, Mike Carey, my probation officer, he said, I remember walking up the stairs. No kidding. I walked up the stairs of the courthouse, and Mike Carey was standing at the top of the stairs, and he said, "Man, I am done with you. You're going to prison. I'm done with you." And I said, "Okay." And he turned around to talk to somebody, and I ran in the bathroom, and I got up on the toilet, and I hid in the stall and locked the door until 1:10, because court started at 10, or at 1, I'm sorry. And so when I knew court started and everybody had went into court, I jetted out of the bathroom, and I was in Arkansas 2 days later. And that's how I left Illinois. So for all you drug court people in here, watch the bathroom. Just saying. So anyway, so I go down to Arkansas. I have another son, meet another woman. I'm trying to give you the short version, I promise. Have another son, meet another woman. Really hope that that's going to change things. Absolutely did it, because I brought all that infection with me. And I brought all that shame and all that unforgiveness and all that hate. That didn't go anywhere. I just brought it to Arkansas with me. So it actually got worse, is what happened. Actually, the Bible says that when you cast a spirit out of a man, he goes and he wanders in dry places. And then he comes back and he finds that house clean and swept and put in order. And then he goes and he finds 7 more demons more wicked than himself. And he comes back and the state of that man is worse than the first. And that's actually exactly what happened to me. So anyway, I ended up getting in a whole lot more trouble in Branson, Missouri, Arkansas area, and destroyed everything. Homeless again, literally. And that was like the first time that I was homeless outside, breaking into hotels in the back window, sleeping in McDonald's benches, hustling everybody that I could hustle until there was nobody left to hustle anymore. And I was on the run, law chasing me from Illinois to Missouri to Arkansas, literally 11 counties in 3 states. I had warrants everywhere. So with the law enforcement part of things and the mental health part of things and the prayer center part of things, it all ties together. So anyway, I found myself in an ice storm December 16, 2013. I was walking in Branson, Missouri, literally walking in the ice storm, worst ice storm that they had had to that point, and worst ice storm that they've had since then. And I was in the middle of it at 2:30 in the morning, and everything in my life had been completely destroyed. Everything. I couldn't pick up the phone and make one phone call to anybody. Nobody would answer. I couldn't borrow not $1. I mean, I don't know your lives, but I mean, imagine not being able to pick up the phone and call one person that would give you $1. They would they wouldn't even pick up the phone in the first place. But it was really like that. I was completely gone. But that's what it took for me. I had to have an ice storm, and I had to have everything in my life destroyed. So anyway, I fell down in that ice, and I cried out to God in that moment. I didn't even want to get up. I was ready to die. I was going to stay there. I was one of those guys that should not be here talking to you right now, like I just shouldn't. So I laid down in that ice, and I cried out to God, and He heard me. And my exact words were, "I have no idea how you're going to fix me. I'm a wreck." That's exactly what I said. And I said, "But I'm going to start trusting you right now." So there was no church, there was no music playing, there was no repeat after me prayer that's not even in the Bible. It's not in there, I'm just saying. It was in the middle of nowhere. And but that's where God came and met me where I was at. And so anyway, the next morning, a cop car pulled in to the parking lot. And I don't know if anybody can relate to understanding when God speaks to you, but He spoke to me and He said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "What?" And He said, "You said you were going to trust me." And I said, "Okay." So I walked up to the window of the cop car and I knocked on the window. And I said, "My name's Dustin Brown. I got warrants in like 9 counties in 3 states, and you guys have been looking for me for a long time." And he goes, "Okay, and what's your name?" Told him. He checked it. He says, "This is a first." I said, "Yeah, I bet it is." He said, "I don't even feel like I need to handcuff you." And I'm like, "You don't?" So he cuffed me in the front, actually, and put me in the car. So anyway, I spent 6.5 months in jail there. I got out and went to a place called New Life Restoration Center as a year-long accountability and discipleship program. And while I was in that program, God just started working His word in my heart through love in Jesus Christ, and He just kept doing that for that whole year. In that year, everything but Illinois was completely demolished. All the other warrants, all the other fines, my kids back in my life, out of DCFS custody, crazy, 1 year, 12 months, nuts. Took me 16 years to destroy everything, and God put it back in my life in 1 year. It was nuts. I was about to graduate the program, and my director, the director of the program, he said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's your choice. What are you going to do? And I said, "Man, the next right thing to do is for me to drive my butt back up to Illinois." I said, "I got a warrant up there. I need to go squash it." He said, "Okay." So he drove me up here, and that's where I saw God's grace really extended through Judge Ford and Prairie Center and the drug court team, and they just looked into my life and grace. There's really no other word than grace. I should have went to prison. I didn't go to prison. I got grace instead. And that's what's so awesome about God and Jesus Christ, is that there's grace instead of lots of things. So anyway, so Judge Ford put me back on drug court. I don't know, I had maybe 20% were for me, 80% were against me. And the 80% told me they were against me. It was actually crazy. Mike Carey sat me down. He's like, "I just want to let you know I'm not for you. You should be in prison right now." I'm like, "I know." So anyway, so I graduated that program in the 21st of December, right? And Vicki Moss, my counselor back there, actually, believed in me and stood by my side. And they call her the bloodhound at Prairie Center, because she's always sniffing people for alcohol. It's funny, but anyway, I did by the grace of God. We graduated December 21st, and since we've been here, crazy stuff happened. Loaves and Fishes is a homeless and needy outreach ministry. I had an idea to grill some hot dogs in the park for homeless people. Don't even know, well, I know where the idea came from, but that's really all I was going to do. And that ended up turning into something much larger than grilling hot dogs in the park. And then I met Melanie Jackson, and I met Tony Contois, and I met and all these connections just started happening. And I agree, the most thing that I agree with what Tony Contois said was, when I got here a year ago, there was a lot of division in this community. And I absolutely agree with that. And in the year that I've been here, man, there's so many entities in this room working together. It's just really awesome to watch God do that. So